is a curious thing. It's a trick. A shadow on the wall.
The premiere of House of the Dragon Season 2 has dropped a cool hint about another big Game of Thrones spin-off in the works. This prequel series is set about 170 years before the events of Game of Thrones, during the era when the powerful House Targaryen ruled with their dragons. It's based on the book Fire and Blood, which dives into the Targaryen reign and offers plenty of material for more than just one show. Game of Thrones may be the main focus of George R.R. Martin's world, but he's created a universe with endless storytelling possibilities. HBO is already working on several upcoming Game of Thrones spin-offs. They've just started filming A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is expected to air in late 2025. The show will be set around the halfway point between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, based on Martin's novellas. The next series in the lineup was teased in House of the Dragon. HBO is eyeing a new Game of Thrones prequel focused on Aegon I Targaryen's conquest of Westeros. According to Variety, the project is in its early stages, and while no writer is attached yet, HBO is eager to push forward and start developing it. There's also talk of a feature film being part of the project, potentially leading into the series, but those plans are still up in the air. The show would explore how Aegon and his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys, use their army and dragons to conquer 6 of the 7 kingdoms in Westeros, with the exception of Dome. This led to Aegon becoming the first king of Westeros, the first to sit on the Iron Throne, and the founder of the Targaryen dynasty, around 300 years before the events of Game of Thrones. This new project would be the latest addition to HBO's lineup of shows set in Westeros. After the massive global success of Game of Thrones, HBO started developing several series based on George R.R. Martin's world. So far, the only project to make it to the screen has been House of the Dragon, which premiered its first season in August 2022. It was quickly renewed for a second season less than a week after its debut, and Season 2 is currently airing. The only other Game of Thrones spin-off that made it to filming was a pilot about the Long Night, starring Naomi Watts. However, that project was scrapped in 2019 on the same day House of the Dragon was officially given the green light. Expanding the Game of Thrones universe, potentially with a film, makes sense given the show's status as one of the most valuable IPs in the Warner Bros. Discovery catalog. It's a trend we're seeing with legacy media companies who are building interconnected film and TV universes around their major franchises. Much like Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe, Warner Bros. Discovery is also working on a rebooted DC universe, led by James Gunn and Peter Safran. As for Game of Thrones: Aegon's Conquest, this event is often referenced as a significant influence on Daenerys Targaryen's mission to free Essos and conquer Westeros. Even non-Targaryens look up to Aegon's confidence and his use of dragons as a powerful weapon in his wars. In House of the Dragon, Aegon I Targaryen is portrayed as the ideal ruler, known for balancing justice and fairness. His conquest left a lasting impact on future generations. In George R.R. Martin's books, Aegon's conquest was driven by several factors. The Targaryens were the last surviving dragon lords after escaping the doom of Valyria 12 years prior, giving them a unique position of power. Many believed Aegon started his conquest simply because he could, given that he had 3 massive dragons. The Targaryens saw themselves as superior to the other rulers of Westeros due to their blood of the dragon. Aegon may have felt that ruling only the small island of Dragonstone wasn't enough for his ambitions. The Valyrians had a long history of conquering lands in Essos, so this conquering nature was part of the Targaryen legacy. While a desire for power was a significant motivator for Aegon, there was also a more noble reason behind his actions. In House of the Dragon, it's revealed that Aegon had a prophetic dream about the coming Long Night. He foresaw a Targaryen, known as the Prince That Was Promised, who would need to unite the 7 kingdoms to fight against the Night King's army. This dream became known as the Song of Ice and Fire, a prophecy passed down to the heirs of the Iron Throne, emphasizing the importance of a united Westeros in the face of a common enemy. The immediate trigger for Aegon's conquest was a rejected deal with Storm King Argilac Durrandon. Argilac proposed a marriage alliance by offering his daughter Argella's hand to Aegon in exchange for help against King Harrenhal, who was expanding into the Stormlands. Aegon turned down the marriage offer but suggested that his rumored illegitimate brother, Orys Baratheon, marry Argella instead. This proposal offended Argilac, who sent the hands of Aegon's envoy back to him. In response, Aegon sent ravens to the rulers of the Seven Kingdoms, declaring that only one king would rule Westeros. Aegon I Targaryen's invasion of the remaining 6 kingdoms of Westeros began with his sister wives, Visenya and Rhaenys, and their dragons. Aegon rode Balerion, Visenya rode Vhagar, and Rhaenys rode Meraxus. Their first significant victory occurred in the area that would become King's Landing, where House Rosby and House Stokeworth surrendered after Visenya's dragon Vhagar destroyed Stokeworth's roof. However, their initial attempt to bring the Vale of Arryn under control was unsuccessful, and the islands known as the Three Sisters rebelled, declaring Lady Marla Sunderland as their queen. Aegon then turned his attention to Harrenhal, where Harrenhal and his men were able to withstand the might of Balerion's dragonfire. The castle burned, and Harren and his fighters perished, prompting Edmund Tully to surrender the Riverlands. Simultaneously, Rhaenys and Orys Baratheon advanced on the Stormlands, where they faced Argilac Durrandon's forces. In a decisive battle, Orys killed Argilac in single combat, leading to the Stormlanders' retreat. Argella, Argilac's daughter, could not defend Storm's End and was eventually taken as Orys's wife, establishing House Baratheon and securing the Stormlands for Aegon. The King of the Reach, Mern the Ninth Gardener, and King of the Rock, Loren Lannister, assembled a massive army of 55,000 soldiers to defend the Westerlands and the Reach from Aegon's forces. They faced off in the battle known as the Field of Fire, where the Targaryen dragons turned the tide despite the united army's strength. The Gardener family line ended due to heavy casualties, and Loren Lannister surrendered to Aegon, bringing the Westerlands under Targaryen rule. Harlan Tyrell, the Steward of Highgarden, surrendered to Aegon and was named Warden of the South and Lord Paramount of the Mandor, securing the Reach for Aegon. Next, Aegon turned his attention to the north, led by King Torrhen Stark, who arrived at the Trident with 30,000 Northmen. The northern houses were divided on whether to fight, given Aegon's successful conquest so far. To avoid unnecessary bloodshed, Torrhen sent his brother Brandon Snow to negotiate peace. The following day, Torrhen knelt before Aegon and was named Lord of Winterfell and Warden of the North, earning the nickname the King Who Knelt. Queen Regent of the Vale, Shara Arryn, tried to broker peace by offering Aegon a marriage proposal, asking that her son be named King of the Mountain and Vale. However, Visenya flew to the Eyrie, where she met Shara's son Ronel, who eagerly asked to ride the dragon Vhagar. After taking a few rides on the dragon, the Arryns surrendered the Vale, and Ronel was appointed Lord of the Eyrie and Warden of the East, bringing the Vale under Targaryen control. Aegon and his sisters had a tough time invading Dorne. The Dornish used sneaky tactics, like ambushes and raids, instead of fighting in open battles or hiding in castles. They knew the land well, which made it hard for the Targaryens and their dragons to dominate. Rhaenys eventually chose to spare Princess Maria Martell, leaving Dorne conquered for a long time. The final move was crowning Aegon as king and protector of the realm after they took over Oldtown. And that's the overview of the spin-off show. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to never miss an update. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you at the next one.